a celebration of the talents of Willie Rushton, who died last year. The programme is hosted by Ned Sherrin.
When Margaret Thatcher told her cabinet that everybody ought to have a Willie, she was referring to Willie Whitelaw, but Willie Rushton was even more essential, perhaps, to the gaiety of nations. And I'm here with 4 friends at the Coach and Horses, one of Willie's haunts in his private eye days, for what we'll call a Willie wake, if only to satisfy the apt alliteration's artful appeal. The 4 friends are Barry Cryer, Richard Ingrams, Lance Percival and Tim Rice. First of all, first meetings. I first met him at the Room at the Top, Ilford, where he was appearing in Cabaret with Barbara Windsor and John Wells, and there was a heavy sort of craze. Well, you were there.
Yes,
I'd totally forgotten your performance. That's probably why you didn't join the main team of that week. That was. However, tell us about your first meeting.
Well, it was some years before, in I should think 1950, when we were both new boys at Shrewsbury School, and Willie was in exactly the same house as me. He was he was a day older than me, so we were, if you like, exact contemporaries. I never thought Willie changed throughout his life. He always seemed to be exactly the same person, as far as I was concerned. I mean, he grew a beard later on, but he was the same.
So he would have been, what, 11 or 12 when you met him?
Yes, but he seemed to be very grown up, even at that stage. He seemed to have sort of found the answers to life in some strange way that I hadn't.
And didn't want to be promoted in the army like you either, did you?
No, we neither of us made it into the officer ranks and class, I should say. I never understood quite how Willie failed to get a commission. He failed to get to university, first of all. He tried to take O-level maths, I think, 6 times, and failed. And then they put him on, they said, well, why don't you do biology? So he did biology, and he went into the exam, and there was something in a test tube, and they said to him, what is this? And Willie put down, disgusting. And he walked out. That was the end of it. But he did something like that in the army, too, so he never made it to
Lance, you met him in, what, 62?
I met him in 62 at the first rehearsal for the pilot, for that was the week it was, I think it would have been in Lime Grove. And my abiding memory is rather similar to Richard's in the sense that the last time I saw Willie was in October 96. And sartorially, I don't think he changed at all. He was wearing pretty well the same outfit. Obviously, he bought another one, but, you know, the dress was exactly the same.
Very.
Will and I had a great contention about when we first met, and we couldn't remember. And Willie always said it was somewhere around the back of David Frost. I always remember that. It was in the Frosty era, and we couldn't remember for the life of us. And he said, that's what old friends are about, he said. We don't remember.
You pick up a vivid memory. You're much younger, of course.
Well, that's the trouble. I'm so much younger. And when I first met Willie, he was already a big star, and he had been one for 10, 12 years. And I can't remember, I've been racking my brains, but it must have been at a Lord's Taverner's dinner. And I think for the rest of my life, I still looked upon him as somebody who was a big star. I mean, he was, of course, a big star, but I was always strangely, slightly in awe of him. I mean, I was enormously fond of him, but he was just so good at talking.
That would have worried him terribly that somebody was
I didn't tell him, I tried
him,
not to tell him.
People were in awe of him, and this used to upset him, I found.
Well, he was just so...
He didn't like it.
But he's very, very sharp and witty and funny. Yeah. And it's very hard not to be impressed.
Yeah.
Let's hear the abiding memory from TW3, which was his impersonation of Prime Minister Macmillan in a short sketch.
Hello? Hello? Oh, is that the White House? Oh, Jack? Oh, it's Harold here. Harold Macmillan. M-A-C...
And he did of course the farewell. I remember singing "The Party's Over" as Harold Macmillan, very sweetly and very touchingly in a little spotlight when the old boy went, which of course led to his election involvement.
Yes, well, actually one of Willie's great disappointments was the fact that Macmillan resigned because he lost a very good part because of that. And the next
and you
one
got Alec Douglas Hughes.
I got Alec Douglas Hughes, which I could never do anyway, but he was marvellous at doing. I mean, I think he had his revenge by going out immediately and contesting the election against Douglas Hughes.
My favourite memory, Willie, from rehearsals of TW3 was he rifled through Frosty's briefcase on one occasion, and he came up with a file. He found a file which had been labelled "Airport Quips." David had become an international traveller and expected to be interviewed at every airport where he touched down. I always remember also when we would we were doing a song called Fat Men Are Coming Back, and it was going to be Willie and Roy Kinnear, and we thought we'd get Fred Emney in to be the third one, and looked at Willie and Roy Kinnear and decided neither of them were remotely fat.
He was quite portly on television back in the 60s. He seemed to me that, and but also he seemed very much part of this incredibly daring new outlook on politics. I mean, I was one of the people deeply affected by this wave of satire as a schoolboy.
So
it was quite sort of shocking. I mean, I remember teachers saying, well, it's also terribly destructive. This sort of thing won't last. But of course, it did, and it changed attitudes to politics ever since.
Used to be letters and telegraphs saying, can't we have constructive satire?
Absolutely.
Willie and I had this from our respective mothers, I think. When are you going to get a proper job? They couldn't believe that it was going to last. But he was a very good writer of lyrics, Willie. I think.
Yes. Well, we're going to hear one.
Brilliant.
We're going to hear one.
Lyricist.
We're going to hear one which actually has its origin in those. It's an early Private Eye LP. I think it must be. And the song, because you used to bring out those LPs. What at Christmas?
Well, they weren't proper LPs. They were little sort of flexible things that were stuck on the.
EPs or flexible discs.
They were stuck on the front of the cover of Private Eye.
But they play, because you will now hear Neasden the song.
Bloody Neasden, you twit.
There's that wonderful riding roughshod over the rhymes, isn't there? Sort of having fun with it. It's like E.Y. Harburg almost.
This is what obviously inspired Tim to go on to Josephinism.
Who wrote the tune? Who wrote the tune to that?
I think I did, actually.
Oh, did you?
I'm sorry to own up to it.
Have you been sued?
He was a great lyricist.
Brilliant.
A yellowed fax. I read this, as Richard might remember, I read this at his funeral. Rushton, the lyricist. I could never sing this. He wanted to do this with me as a duet at Edinburgh. But I said, no, you do it, because it was wonderful. St. Vitus's dance. What was the dance, St. Vitus dance, that did so gratify the Lord, that they beatified him for his terpsichore? Play me a chord, and I will dance the dance that Vitus did, that caused the cardinals in Rome to say that dancing halls should have, and they would suffer no complaint, a patron saint, and then went home. They searched through history for a holy man who danced, and then they chanced upon a man whose wild gavotte would frustrate all the devil's tricks, and though they were as tight as ticks, they said that when this Vitus kicks, he does a lot of good for God. And then they danced the dance that Vitus danced. The world was shaken to the hilt, when in a bowler hat and kilt, Vitus quadrilled. They searched through history for a holy man who danced, and then they chanced upon a man whose hectic lurch would give Beelzebub the creeps. And while the whole of mankind sleeps, it's guaranteed when Vitus leaps, it's bound to liven up the church. And so they danced the dance that Vitus danced, and when the saints come dancing in, frequently sequined, he's a dream. He is the mainstay of their own formation team. They stand supreme. They always win. Oh, invite us, St. Vitus, to the dance. Willie Rushton.
Oh, I can see why Willie was going to do it on his own, actually.
Richard,
I was no fool.
Barry's complimented him as a lyricist, but I think you probably feel that his greatest achievement, which we can't really illustrate on radio, was the cartooning skills, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he did that from the earliest days that I remember. I mean, when he was at school, he seemed to be a fully fledged cartoonist. I don't know where he got it from. He had no ancestral cartoonist or anyone. All the time he doodled on any piece of paper. He did these sort of mustachioed men in bowler hats. And these funny feet he had, they were all sort of, someone said they were like wheel clumps. He said he couldn't do feet. And then later on, he did, of course, he did all the drawings of the early Private Eye, mostly political. And then he invented a sort of entirely new type of cartoon, a sort of Rabelaisian type of cartoon. Hither, Gloria, I'll take a shilling's worth. And there was one that you would particularly appeal to you, I think. There was these two elderly gays in bed together in the street, and there's a policeman comes up to them and says, adults you are, consenting you may well be, but I would question the privacy of Lowndes Square.
So, but he'd gone. You had gone the routine way through the army to university. He'd gone into a lawyer's clerk's
He went into
office.
a solicitor's office, and then I was reminded of this by Andrew Osmond. He had an accident. He was nearly run over by a bus, And
Brave bus.
and he decided then that he was never going to do anything that he didn't enjoy in future life. And he then immediately gave up being a solicitor and took to freelance cartooning. And all he could get was a job on the Liberal News.
But how much was he a part of the forging process?
He and Booker, between them, did pretty well all the very early issues of Private Eye, and they were done in Willie's bedroom, 28 Scarsdale Villas. There was something called Letraset that had just been invented. And he did all the headlines, and he did all the drawings.
It's a sort of website for the 50s, wasn't it?
And there was
Or whatever
Cowgum,
that is.
too. We had Letraset and Cowgum. Were very important parts of the proceedings.
Much later in the 80s, when he was diagnosed with diabetes, he seemed to me to lose none of the elan, none of the fun that he used to have when he was drinking.
No, I think he was
regard
quite
his-
grateful in a way, actually, that he'd been feeling very ill, and when the doctor finally said to him, "You're diabetic, you'll have to give it up," I think he was quite relieved. He told me that he'd done a lot more work as a result of that. He got quite grumpy, I think, but I liked that. Being sort of, in the last years of his life, I mean, his drawing certainly he did a fantastic amount of drawing.
And
He
then
did
the
this one-
books he did as well.
Books.
He wrote with a huge sort of vaulting imagination.
Indeed, and very, very beautiful colour.
You said
illustration.
grumpy, but he always managed to carry it off. And people would always yell and say, "Hey, Will," and all that sort of thing. But he managed to carry that sort of thing off with great good humour.
Yes, I mean, my memory was saying, "You bastard."
Oh, they would love that, wouldn't
That was
they?
his beauty.
Yes.
He would always insult you to your face, and you'd find out he was saying nice things behind your back. Always.
That's very true. He appeared at one of the oldie literary lunches which we just started, and he got up and he said, "Where would we be without a sense of humour? Germany." It was a brilliant opening. Everybody fell about. It was just quite unexpected. It's such a good joke.
Well, we ought to think about Willie the actor or Willie the acting personality. I suppose school of Robert Morley, Wilfrid Hyde-White. He was in Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines and all sorts of... But we've just got one little snippet reading Eeyore Has a Birthday from Jack Honorim.
Look at all the presents I've had, said Eeyore, who looked first to the right and to the left. Where? Can't you see them? No, said Pooh. Neither can I, said Eeyore. Joke, he explained. Ha, ha.
I think we can say it was personality actor rather than a careful delineator of a variety of characters.
Yeah, the heir apparent to, as you said, Robert Morley and Wilfrid Hyde-White and people like that.
He
I
loved
think-
all those people. He loved. I mean, we used to go and see all those films when we were schoolboys.
Yes, he did Flying Machines with Morley, and Morley wanted to go off after lunch one day. He had his big scene starting the race or something, and he wanted to go to Ascot. No, write it in, Rushton to do it, you know. So Willie was happy to stay there for days on end afterwards.
Willie loved the theatre.
Yes.
He loved
He
going
loved
through
it.
a stage door and everything.
Never came late.
He's
But I
very
remember in the
respectful.
musical of Gulliver, which Willie, I've forgotten what he was playing now. He was playing King of somewhere. And once or twice, things would not go quite as well as he'd expected. I mean, he'd probably get the lines right, but then he'd say, "Hang on, take two, and do it again." True to the, the words, but he actually did them twice, which is not what the author intended.
The value of his voice and character comes across in another form, which is the fact that one of the most used voices in commercials has been Willie, and that went on for years, right to the end.
Yeah. You knew that he was no nonsense because Willie had that feeling,
I
the
always
stamp of truth.
I always thought he was always intact. Whatever show he did, he was Willie.
And he was able to rise above, sometimes perhaps not the most intellectual of material. One thinks of the odd panel game, but he always brought the panel game up rather than sunk to that level. But when was the moment he changed from being William to Willie? Because I'm sure when I first heard of him,
he may
was
have been
William
billed
billed.
as William on TW3, but we always called him Willie.
But later he was billed as Willie. It was like, the nation
That's
just couldn't
right.
cope with him being William.
I called him Will, and he said, "Oh, I like that." Suddenly one day, and I was taken completely by surprise. I like that. He used to be called Will.
Somebody mentioned panel games. So one of the most idiosyncratic, chaired by dear old Johners, and with two taverners here, we ought to hear a little bit of trivia test match.
Which 30s musical star went on to become Mrs. Dale in Mrs. Dale's Diary?
Jessie Matthews.
Right.
That was a beautiful half volley outside the off stump, wasn't it? Very easy.
I didn't think it was easy, and I just thought I played it skillfully. As you did Jessie Matthews.
Don't waste time on
my
it.
shoulder goes. Oh, sorry. We'll have a quiet single now to get over the excitement.
What was Norman Bates's hobby in Hitchcock's Psycho?
Stuffing birds.
You're right. You get a single?
Another single, yes, please.
How many humps do the camels native to Central Asia have? The ones
You're a
native
camel
to Central
expert,
Asia.
Bailey.
It can only be one or two. Two.
You're right, too. Another single. An easy one there.
More camel questions. We'll have a crack at another 4, I think.
Right. In the Bible, what was Noah's wife called?
Mrs. Noah.
No, she wasn't.
Ah, they weren't married.
They were.
Some terrible revelations are coming out of this program.
How's that? Sharon.
Now, wait a second. You've got it wrong, too. So both sides have got it wrong. The answer was Noah's wife or thy wife. She's never referred to by name. How many more balls is over? 2 to go?
It's just a 1 for us now. We've given up 4s.
What is the average United Kingdom female bust size?
A swift titter ran through the audience.
We've moved down from Lords to the Oval, I know.
And the last word there from Robin Bailey. How did that all start? Was it, were you always the same team?
I was one skipper and Willie was the other, and Jonas was the umpire.
Oh, you
in
had
charge.
guests, did you?
Yeah, and we each had one guest on our team, and we began the series doing it from the Paris Theatre, and it worked okay, but it didn't really take off until after about the 3rd year we went round the country and we went live to cricket matches, and having Willie and Jonas there, it was always a huge event for the local club. And it got better and better, and like all these shows, people don't notice it's on until it's been running for about 5 years. And after year 5, people were saying, that new show you're doing with Willie Rushton is terrific. And then it's now been off the air, tragically, for 4 or 5 years. And people are still saying, you know, I really enjoyed that recent broadcast. But Willie, the thing about him on that show was he had an incredible knowledge. Obviously, he had the great general knowledge of kings and history and politics and everything, but he was totally up to date with trivial knowledge. I mean, he would probably now be able to name all the Spice Girls. Absolutely no problem. He somehow seemed to know everything that was going on in all popular culture, and very funny about it as well.
I'm just thinking about whether anybody else had cricket memories.
I'd like to actually just read something which is very, very typical of Willie, which he wrote. A year or so ago, I was put up for the Lord's Taverners, and Barry Cry, here on my left, actually proposed me. And Willie Rushton wrote this as a seconder. I have known the applicant for 30 years and seconded the application, etc. Ideally suited for the Taverners, being a total cad and bounder. He has clearly supped Cryer 5 or so used onces. Supped, I thought, was a very Willie word, for which Cryer is anybody's meaning of 5. But the fact that he's rode with Glub Pasha and can handle a camel does in no way atone for the acute embarrassment he has caused much of our own larger wildlife. There's a lot of Willie in there.
Did you get in?
Yes, I did.
If I go back to the cartoons, one has just occurred to me, which is one of his men sitting in the cistern of the lavatory, and another man underneath saying, "Oh, Jessup, will you never learn?" He was very good at thinking up names too, really. There was a man very early on called Hugo Pramat, who was an artist of some kind with a beard. Other names like Voltrouser. There was a Mule Dump. Was another of his.
We're nearly into, I'm sorry, I haven't a clue time, I think, so let's let Humphrey Lyttelton set it up.
Now, our first round is called Channel 4 Children's Hour. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to suggest some titles of racy children's programmes suitable for a well-known minority channel faced with privatisation. Barry, will you start, please?
Chitty Chitty Gangbang.
101 Reservoir Dalmatians. Directed by Quentin Dandian-Bino.
Louisa May Alcott's Big Women.
Winnie the... Was that you? Snow White and the 9.5 Dwarves.
Bill and Ben behaving badly.
And God created Noddy.
Postman Pat always rings twice.
Lord Baden-Powell's famous book, Snorting for Boys.
Jack and Orgy.
Last Tango in Trumpton.
Swallows and amorous nuns.
Okay.
Lust William.
Barry, I mean, how much have we given any guidelines before that? Because they are wonderfully extempore things.
Well, that was typical of him.
Yeah.
The last one got an enormous laugh. He was the epitome of laid back. And we were all working our socks off, doing our puns and jokes. And Will would always come in with one. He struck like a snake. Suddenly, he would do something, and you thought, where did that come from? It was just him. It was from over there.
There's a great generosity on that programme, it seems to me. Everybody, there appears to be no comedian's competitive thing. Everybody seems to be enjoying everybody else's jokes.
I'll tell you a story. We were always on Radio 4, and are. They were repeated on Radio 2. And a few weeks ago, as we speak, Will and I both spoke at the same moment, as you tend to do on a programme like that. And Willie immediately held back and said, after you, Bazza, you'll probably die first. And I love him for that. It was a wonderfully funny line. So...
Right, that takes us through to Bazza's double act with Willie, the two old farts.
Never a double act. Two single acts. When I walked off the stage, he walked on, and vice versa. And it was 7 years, and it was so happy. Working with him was an absolute joy. I would either be in the dressing room listening to him on the tannoy or standing on the side waiting to go on. And he made me laugh every night we ever worked together.
Oh, now. Hang on. Mr. Crowe would like to address the nation. As this is a lunchtime programme well before the watershed, we have had expressions of alarm from the local watch committee and several Liberal Democrats about the words in the following songs. So we have a device here to excise any questionable words.
The next act is tremendous.
Oh, right, right.
There's women over there I'd dip into capital for. Oh, no. Sorry, anyway.
I could have all night, I could have all night, and still have begged for more. I could have spread my hand on 1,000 I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting. Why all at once my jaw flies. I only know when she began to with me. I could have all night.
Wonderful harmonies there.
Nearly.
We need the abiding memories. Lance, what's your
Well, no, I've actually want to borrow one here, because I read something which, of all people, was said by David Frost. Do you remember him? He actually gave a very good line, I thought, when Willie just departed, which was quoted in the newspapers, and I read the next day, and I just thought it was a very good summary, which simply said, the older he got, the funnier he got. And I thought that was very good.
Yes, and accurate too, Tim.
I always remember and treasure some very good advice he gave me at a Lord's Taverner's dinner after I'd spilt some red wine on my snazzy new white evening jacket. He said, I always dress to match the colour of the food.
A quote by Will about himself. In the opening of our show, he always did the jokes about being older. And he used to say, I'm often being asked what I want on my gravestone. I had a flash in Tesco's the other day. And I would go, what? And he said, I was wheeling my trolley round, and I saw on a shelf the very word I want on my gravestone. It said, discontinued. And when Will left us, I was in a pub in Cambridge, and I lifted my glass, and I said, cheers, Will, discontinued.
The nicest thing, I think, almost that I heard was the story that Dorgan, his splendid wife, said she and Toby, I think, were there in the house when he was going in for the pre-med, and he phoned them, and they chatted. The last thing they heard was that sort of, and Willie had gone under, and they'd been talking until he went to sleep, which was enchanting. Richard, you have the first memory.
Well, I have the first memory, and my memory is of Willie being unchanged throughout our long acquaintance. I think he was and this emerged from so many letters that came into Private Eye, he was greatly loved by not just the people who knew him like us, but everyone else as well who'd seen him on the telly and heard him on the radio. And part of the reason was, I think, that he was a very good person, and one of the very good things about him was, I think, that he lacked ambition. He only wanted to do what he enjoyed doing. I don't think he wanted to do anything else or be anyone else. And that was partly why he was so loved.
Willie, you're to start. I'd like you to accompany Frankie Lane singing Rawhide.
Rolling, 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 rolling. It's quite easy so far. Rolling, 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 rawhide. Oh, that's quite fun. Rolling, rolling, though the streams are swelling, keep them dogies rolling, rawhide. Through rain and wind and weather, hell bent for leather, wishing my girl was by my side. All the things I'm missing, good victuals, loving, kissing, awaiting at the end of my ride. Move 'em on, head 'em up, move 'em on, head 'em up, rawhide, crack. Let 'em out, ride 'em in, let 'em out, cut 'em out, ride 'em in, rawhide.
In Willie's wake, Ned Sherrin was reminiscing with Richard Ingrams, Barry Cryer, Sir Tim Rice and Lance Percival. The production team were Helen Williams, David Scott and Jonathan James Moore.
We present a celebration of the work of Willie Rushton on I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttelton.
Our first round is called Historical Postcards. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to come up with some postcard messages likely to have been sent by famous historical figures from a certain holiday destination. Willie.
Found this one from Wordsworth, from Tinton Abbey, saying, "Dear Dorothy, have you got a rhyme for either Tinton or Abbey?"
Graeme?
This is Nelson to Lady Hamilton. Having a great time at Trafalgar, apart from the pigeons. Captain Hardy has shown me great loyalty and affection, though I still have to remind him no tongues. Can't wait to be back with you. Hope the eye and the arm are enough to be going on with. P.S. Please send half bottle of Optrex.
Captain Scott from the Antarctic. The weather's not up to much. Catering poor. Oates is popping out to post this now.
And Willie, I'd like you to sing the words of The Laughing Policeman to the tune of As Time Goes By.
So would I. I know a fat old policeman. He's always on our street. A fat, jolly red-faced man. He really is a treat. He's too kind for a policeman. He's never known to frown, and everybody says he's the happiest man in town. Ha, 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 ha. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, ha, whoa, ho, ho. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Ha, 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 ha. Sit down.
I'd like you, please, teams, to suggest some extracts from possible sequels to classic works of literature by new authors. And you're going to start, Willie, and I'd like you to suggest some extracts from a sequel to Moby Dick, as written by Raymond Chandler.
When I came round, I was lying face down on the beach at Santa Barbara. Then I heard a voice. "I'm looking for a private Dick," she said. I looked up. She was beautiful. Her body shimmered like fish skin. She had lips like Andrew Lloyd Webber and gills like Prince Charles. This wasn't surprising. She was a herring. "I'm a Dick," I gasped. "Moby Dick, too." "Is that a gun under your jacket," she said, "or you're just pleased to see me?" "That's Gregory Peck," I said. I haven't been able to shake him off since the end of Moby Dick 1. She laughed like whitebait tap dancing on a bed of wet lettuce. I was in love and several sizes too big for her.
Our next round is called Notes and Queries. Glancing at my copy of The Guardian the other day, teams, I was pleased to read an interesting question and answer section which they call Snots and Queasy. So with this in mind, I'd like you please to pool your considerable knowledge and to provide answers to the following niggling little questions. Graeme, I'll put the first one to you. Do spiders have ears?
If you really care, Humph, there was actually a famous experiment proving that they have ears in their legs. Because if you made a loud noise, a spider will run away. But if you pull its legs off...
Well, actually, you've come so close to the right answer that... Because, as you well know, Graeme, you were trying to put it... I'll put it more concisely than you did. What are we talking about? Spiders do have very sensitive hairs on their legs. Isn't that interesting? Now, Tim, why should you never put ripe bananas next to cut flowers?
Because they stick out like sore thumbs.
Thank you, sir. I'll tell you why, because it's interesting. Ripe bananas give off a special gas, ethene. It's called ethene or ethene, which speeds up the ripening in other fruit and vegetation.
Good
Gosh. Willie, why do the clergy wear dog collars?
Why does the Archbishop of Canterbury worry sheep?
The boring answer is that a visiting Roman Catholic order first wore them in the 1840s, and the look caught on. Barry, who was the Frenchman who proposed the theory that the wind is caused by trees waving their branches? And did he have any other interesting theories?
I know this one. This was Jacques Le Convert, who had another theory about farts were caused by people saying, "Was that you?" Wind-orientated. The man was obsessed.
I have here a not very concise real answer. It was probably a Swiss man called Jean Piaget who made various studies into Oh, God, I can't be bothered. Okay, here are some more for anyone to answer. Do giraffes take special precautions during thunderstorms?
Yes. They dash down to the chemist and buy an enormous packet of 3.
The official answer is no. Why are eggs egg-shaped?
Never mind that. How do hens know the size of egg cups?
Well, the actual answer is that the curve provides the strongest resistance to outside forces. Is it true that cows sitting down is a portent of rain?
Possibly, but it's not as reliable a portent as a pharmacy full of giraffes.
The next round is entitled Good Morning Radio. It's a game subtly adapted from morning television by adding the word radio. And changed beyond all recognition by adding the word good. In this round, teams, I'd like you to alternate as interviewers and guests on a breakfast chat show. As you would expect of the genre, the job of the interviewers is to prevent their guests from saying anything of interest. Points will be awarded to the guests for any interesting information they're able to slip in. So without further ado, let's find out who the guests are today on BGTV with your hosts, Barry and Graeme.
Good morning.
Morning.
And, well, over the years on the couch, we've had a lot of fun, actually.
And then the guests came in.
Yeah. And this morning we're very privileged to have Her Majesty the Queen and Princess Margaret. Now,
Good morning. Morning.
Morning.
Mums, before we...
Morning. Good morning. Morning. And to all my people, good morning. And to all my sister's people, morning.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but...
well, thank you.
Before we get to the makeover... I wondered if you had any hints on Caribbean cooking.
Just put everything in that pot.
Yes, that's what we do, yes.
We wouldn't touch it with a barge pail.
Do you ever go...
We wouldn't touch a barge pail. We don't know what a barge pail is.
Your Majesty, has your facial hair ever caused you embarrassment in public?
I once grew a 14-inch beard, just for the hell of it. It's just a trick of the light. It doesn't show on the stamps at all.
I don't want to hurry you along, but I'm expecting...
Who is that?
Gold
That's
trumpet
nice
in
Humphrey
waiting.
Lyttelton. He's going to play for us, eh? Are you going to sing with him now? Probably. We're beginning to sound like Hinge and Brackett. We are.
Willie, one hit by a golf ball. Do golfers shout four?
Because the ball has usually struck the victim before they can finish saying, for what it's worth, you're about to be struck by a golf ball.
Okay, it's a round now to test the team's musical skills, known in the trade as a quickie. It's the round called Pick Up Song. We're going to hear some well-known records to which the teams will sing along. Luckily, DJ Samantha has an impressive set of 45s, which she'll kindly get... which she'll kindly get out and spin for our delight. She's poised at the disco turntable, ready to reduce the intoned modulation of the sound frequency to nil, a process known to radiophonic engineers as twisting the knob. As the volume fades away, the teams will continue to sing, the object being to stay in time with the record. If, when the music reappears, they're within a gnat's pizzicato of the original, I'll be awarding points, and points mean prizes. What do points mean? Prizes! I wasn't asking you. This week's prize comes from the Duchess of York's Essential Hair Care range. It's a year's supply of wash and go skiing. Willie, you're to start. I'd like you to accompany Frankie Lane singing Rawhide.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. It's quite easy so far. Rolling, rolling, rawhide. Oh, that's quite fun. Rolling, rolling. Though the streams are swelling, keep them dogies rolling. Rawhide. Through rain and wind and weather, hell bent for leather, wishing my girl was by my side.
All the things I'm missing. Good victuals, loving, kissing, awaiting at the end of my ride. Move 'em on, head 'em up, move 'em on, head 'em up, rawhide, crack. Let 'em out, ride 'em in, let 'em out, cut 'em out, ride 'em in, rawhide.
Willie, one for you now. If the gents is closed, is there anything from stopping me nipping into the ladies?
Yes. Euro Regulation CP 45397277B, which states in the event of closure of gentleman's lavatory, you may only evacuate in your hat and urinate on the rear offside leg of a Belgian.
Well, I must tell you that according to Guardian reader Rachel Meir of Leicester, there'll be a queue in the ladies, so don't bother.
And the graffiti's much neater in there. Well, it would be. They've got the hands free.
OK, well, it's now time to play a round of sound charades. This is similar to the old parlour game of charades, in which the players mime film, book and play titles for the others to guess. However, in our version, as you probably know, the panellists have permitted the use of their mouths. Recently, we experimented with a similar game called smell charades. But we were forced to evacuate the studio after Willie did Animal Farm.
In stereo, be fair.
So teams making use of nothing but your verbal dexterity, I'd like you please to take it in turns to enact the title of a well-known film, book or TV programme for the opposing team to guess. Tim and Willie, you're to start, and your title will shortly be broadcast to our theatre audience via the laser projector for Barry and Graeme to guess. Meanwhile, here's the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Zulu. Zulu.
OK?
It's one word.
And it's a film. It's commencing now. Excuse me. Excuse me, I wondered if you could just...
Yes. Turn left at the Elephant House.
Yes.
Cross the zebra. On past the fellow, and it's third on your right.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
The end.
Directions in a zoo, but one word.
There isn't a new blockbuster out called Whipsnade, is there?
Sounds terrific.
I'd like to see
it. Does the syllable zoo appear in the one word?
It does.
You've got it, haven't you?
No.
What's the one place you find that you're looking for?
I thought it came out of my performance that I was a man with crossed legs. Zulu.
Zulu.
Right, now, Willie, here's one for you. Will you please describe the beheading of Charles I in the style of an agony aunt?
Dear Charles I. It is, of course, so easy to be wise after the event. Though, of course, given the event, in your case, the reverse is probably true. When the head is severed from the body, wisdom tends to go straight out of the window. How sensible of you, though, to take my advice and wear 3 shirts. It was foolish of you, however, to ignore my best suggestion, not to turn up. So you were pig ignorant before and during the event, and even more so afterwards. But then again, you have a descendant of the same name who talks to lupins. And he's constantly writing to me, what a family, love Auntie Will.
Willie, why... Keep this short, please. Why does one never see baby pigeons?
One never looks.
So, teams, time to describe for us some exciting new inventions that you consider might be of interest to the people of the Innovations Catalogue. Willie, how about you?
A waste disposal unit that sounds like Lloyd Grossman. They've done that already. You will not fail to thrill to the whistling dildo. A lot more fun than Ronnie Ronald, and admittedly not as much use as luminous car gloves. A bouncy Windsor castle. If you happen to have royal children. With inflammable west wing. And puncture outfit. Live dangerously. The Russian roulette cigarette lighter and nasal hair remover. Oh, there goes my dildo.
Moving on, we come to a new round called Salesman of the Century, which has nothing to do with Nicholas Parsons. But then who does? In it, I'd like the team members to take the roles of long-forgotten characters from history. Not much acting in that bit. They'll have to deal with a visit from two door-to-door salesmen trying to sell them something they never knew that they needed. Okay, Tim and Willie, I'd like you to assume the identity of Mr. and Mrs. Noah, and Barry and Graeme, you can be door-to-door salesmen selling dusters.
Bing bong.
Sorry, I was downstairs checking the fish. You met Mrs. Noah, have you?
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
Morning. We're on a scheme. We got card. Here's my card. You can see it's got a picture of somebody on it. And we wondered if we could sell you any dusters at all.
No, thank you.
Well, we don't just have dusters.
Oh, no, we've got oven gloves.
Yeah.
By the brace.
What? Mop heads.
What use?
Loveable mop heads we've got.
People keep thinking we say mopeds. We have to clarify. We have to clarify that. Lovely garden you've got. Never seen one on an ark before. We've got sponges and chamois.
We've got a nice chamois. We've got two nice chamois.
If you're sure. We use the hedgehogs. You can buff something up lovely with a hedgehog.
Yeah, we've got some nice lemon cleaning liquid. You'll have the cleanest lemons on the 7 seas.
Those elephants must be a trial.
And
Japheth handles the elephants.
Who does?
Well, that's an offence, isn't it?
We'd rather not talk about it.
He must be very tall.
He stands on a giraffe.
You need stocking up. It's going to be a long time to Ararat.
40 days and 40 nights. We've got the timetable.
Well, there's points failure at Peterborough.
No, thank you.
Squeegee.
Willie, now, if my sources are to be trusted, you've discovered some sort of diaries from the great Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi. July the 8th. First thing, I went to my spinning wheel and ran up a handsome pale grey loincloth that would set off my very nice new blazer. The question of the day, the big one, is which hairpiece to wear. Lord Mountbatten gave me his nice ginger one for my birthday. And it looks very fine indeed. Mr. Churchill is going to feel the rough edge of my tongue. And July the 9th. I awoke to the delightful sound of my good lady wife, Mrs. Mandy Rice Gandy, singing Goldfinger to herself over the kedgeree. I emptied a bottle of Chartreuse over my Cocoa Pops and readjusted my toupee.
Time now for a round of limericks. Actually, it's quite interesting where the name limerick comes from. It's a corruption of the old French word for America, l'Amérique. That's true. It's not a bluff, it's true. French migrants sailing to the New World will be blown off course to Southern Ireland, where they landed and mistakenly called it l'Amérique. There's still a large community of Limerick French to this day, as visitors to their annual festival of sheep burning and lorry wrecking will testify. Right, teams, I shall furnish you with a potential packed opening, which I'd like you to complete in turn, taking one line each. Graeme, you're going to start. A porter from Gonville and Keys.
A porter from Gonville and Keys grew potatoes on both of his knees.
On the end of his nose
Grew a rare kind of rose.
But you'll never guess where he grew these.
Tim, here's yours. While out with a couple of blues.
I didn't know which one to choose.
The one with the squint? Or the one with the splint?
I have both. I've got nothing to lose.
Barry, here's yours. While out on the cam in a punt.
I saw Reverend Spooner in front.
He said, "What a day gay." And anchors away.
And make way for my podding sunt.
And finally, here's yours, Willie. If you're studying natural science...
If you're studying natural science, I suggest that you wear this appliance.
You strap it on thus.
Then just hop on a bus.
And you'll find you'll get masses of clients.
Finally, a duet for you, Tim and Willie. I'd like you, please, to once more assume the identities of the Queen and Princess Margaret, singing Sisters.
Such devoted sisters. Never had to have a chaperone. No, sir. We're there to keep our eye on her. Caring. Sharing. Every little crown that we are wearing. When a certain gentleman arrived from Greece, she wore the dress and I phoned the police. All kinds of weather, we stick together. Same in my rain and sun. Two different faces, but in tight places. One thinks and one acts as one. Here's who've seen us. No, the doctor thing to come between us. Many men have tried to split us up, but no one can. Nobody can. Lord help the mister who comes between us and our sister. And Lord help the sister who comes between my husband and I. Good night.
You have been listening to a celebration of the work of Willie Rushton on I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. It featured Barry Cryer, Graeme Garden and Tim Brooke-Taylor, with Humphrey Lyttelton in the chair and Colin Sell at the piano. The programme associate was Ian Pattinson and the producer was John Naismith.
present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttelton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the show in which laughter follows fun as sure as night follows dawn. You join us today in the splendid Liverpool Playhouse. Liverpool is a fine old city whose linguistic derivation is an interesting one. Apparently it takes its name from two old English words meaning boggy water. The town is first mentioned in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle when King Edmund sailed up a creek of the Mersey and discovered muddy pools, who went on to become one of the greatest blues guitarists of the 9th century. Let's meet the teams. There are four performers who I first knew as hopeless beginners, barely able to string a joke together. And I can honestly say that success hasn't changed them at all. They are on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And on my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. And please welcome our scorer, the delightful Samantha. Incidentally, exciting news. Samantha tells me she's expecting a visit from a film producer in her dressing room after the show, with news of a part he's been holding for her. He seems sure she's going to make it big. Our first round is called Chat-Up Lines. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to suggest some chat-up lines for use by the senior citizen. Barry, will you start, please?
I see your glass is empty. Do you mind if I put my teeth in? I say, baby, let's lock Zimmer frames and rattle till we drop.
Graeme?
Hello. Who am I?
Tim?
No, that's a war wound. Fancy a Horlicks?
How's your back? Is that your colostomy bag, or are you just pleased to see me? Your sheltered accommodation or mine? I could take you to a hip joint. I want to put my tongue in your ear. Take your deaf aid out. I want to run my fingers through your hair, so pass it over.
Now it's time to play a popular round called Pick-Up Song, in which our teams take it in turns to sing along to some of my favourite gramophone records. At a given point, DJ Samantha will turn down the volume. Not easy, as she isn't used to turning things down. If when the disc returns, teams, you're within a... the Guardian sub-editor wrote this. It says a giant's crotchet. If when the disc returns, you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I shall be awarding points, and points, as every school child knows, means prizes. What do points mean? Bring back the cane, I say. This week's prize is something so comfortable to sit on it'll make you feel like royalty. It's the Parker Bowles recliner. OK, Barry, I'd like you to start by accompanying Chuck Berry singing No Particular Place to Go.
Cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go. He's over 60 now, you know. Riding along my automobile was anxious to tell her the way I feel.
He wasn't at the beginning.
So I told her to stop his tear. And she nearly whispered in my ear. Cuddling more and driving slow with no particular place to go.
It was John Scrotchett after all. Your turn, Willie. I'd like you to accompany Buddy Holly singing Raining in...
You, but it's... Where have you gone? Raining. Raining in my heart. The weatherman says clear today. He doesn't know you've gone away and it's raining. Raining in my heart. Oh, misery, misery. What's gonna become of me? I tell my blues they mustn't show.
I tell my
OK, Graham, would you please accompany Los Del Rio singing Macarena? Thank you.
My dance, they call me Macarena, and the boys, they say que es de buena. They all want me, they can have me, so they all come and dance beside me. Move with me, chant with me, and if you're good, I'll take you home with me. Ooh, you got a Macarena. Call the buena. Oh, I call me Macarena. Hey, Macarena. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. Hey, Macarena. Now don't you worry about my boyfriend, the boy whose name is Vittorino. I don't want him, couldn't stand him. He was no good, so I ha. Now, come on, what was I supposed to do? He was out of town and his two friends were so fine. Oh, Macarena.
Never mind. Finally, Tim, I'd like you now, please, to accompany Liam Gallagher of the rock combo Oasis singing Don't Look Back in Anger.
slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play? You said that you'd never speak of the things that you've seen slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed, 'cause you said the brains I had went to my head. Step outside a summertime's in bloom. Stand up beside the fireplace. Take that look from off your face. You ain't ever gonna burn my heart out.
Sit down, Miss Crescent.
Tune coming up. I'm so Sally can't wait. She knows it's too late as we're walking on by.
Oh, just ruptured myself. How those boys do it every night, I don't know. And sing.
Okay. The next round is called Sound Charades, and it's based on that wonderful old parlour game, Charades. In our version, the teams will take it in turns to enact the title of a well-known film, book, or TV programme for the opposing team to guess. And since we're on the radio, they'll be using a form of verbal miming and linguistic interplay known as speaking. So, Tim and Willie, you're to start. Your title is now going to be relayed to our theatre audience via the digital interface multi-screen sensor-round projection system, so generously funded by our hosts. And for listeners at home, here's the mystery voice.
The Simpsons. The Simpsons.
Right, you're guessing this one, Barry and Graeme, and off you go, Tim and Willie.
OK, this is 2 words. It's a television programme, and it starts like this.
Surely she's not going to marry that dysfunctional upper-class chinless wonder from London, England land? What, I ask you, was the matter with Gromit?
Cracking cheese, Wallace. Oh, what a giveaway.
Doom. At the end.
Not Wallace and Gromit, but...
No.
No, the odd couple is 3 words.
Chinless?
What are they? They're puppets?
No, they're not, you silly clapper.
Cartoons. Is one of the 2 words cartoon?
No.
No. It's not Potter's Wheel either.
Wallace could be a clue.
That was another headline from The Guardian. It was Edward Yates to marry Wallace Sampson.
Was that a clue?
No, not much of one.
2 words.
2 words.
Not a King's Story, that's 3.
Well, he took her name. Does that describe it to...
The Simpsons.
God, that was painful. It's your turn, Barry and Graeme. Now, your title's being displayed on the projection screen, and here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Wind in the Willows. Wind in the Willows.
What is it? A film, a book,
It's
or
a film.
what?
It's 4 words.
And a book.
And been a play in its time, I remember.
And a
4
play.
words and a book.
Here we go.
Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What can I do for you?
I'd like to buy a cricket bat, please.
A cricket bat? We have a very wide selection here, as you can see. Reg, I'm serving a customer in here. Sorry about that, sir. Perhaps I can show you some... Reg, can't you go outside or something? Do apologise, sir. Here we are. Now, look at this one, sir. Here we got the Compton Classic. Reg, if you don't stop that, I'm going to come up and take that trombone away from you. The end.
Off you go, Tim and Willie. Go on.
Bats in the belfry or something.
Trombone in the Willows.
Bats. Yes, that's it.
You're so close.
Trombone in the... Could it be possibly Wind in the Willows?
Okay. As we're about halfway through the show, the theatre management have asked me to pass on this message to our audience. Anyone wishing to avoid the crowds when leaving, please try to wait till the end of the show. Time now for the next round. Teams, I'd like you please to suggest some of our more traditional sayings and proverbs that might usefully be adapted to suit certain foreign countries. We're going to start with you, Tim.
Spain. There are plenty more fish in your sea.
Sweden, a soft voice turneth away wrath, but talk like this and they'll piss themselves.
Willie?
From Italy, accidents will happen in the best regulated families in Sicily. And in Russia, they say, don't put new wine into old Boris.
Holland, if the cap fits, you're safe.
In Japan, they say, get rid of these scavenging birds before you bring the harvest in. Rook before you reap.
In France, they say Le Pen is mightier than President Chirac. In Eastern Europe, they say you can't bloody get out of Estonia.
Australia, love is blind, so brace yourself, Shane.
Right, it's now time to play that old favourite, Spot the Ostrich. This is a particular favourite of Barry's, and he's been nagging me for years to play the game on the programme. Teams, you already have your safety helmets and feather dusters. So, lights out, please, and Samantha, open the cage.
Spotted it!
Well done, Barry.
I must admit I have played it before. But...
The next round is our regular poetry spot. Now, teams, there's nothing that truly beats a great rhyme, as once I thought, reading a sonnet from the page that had it on it. This week, our featured verse is the 5-line nonsense poem, taking its name from Ireland's unofficial nonsense capital, Liverpool. Or, as it's often known, the limerick. Teams, I shall furnish you each with a fruitful first line, which I'd like you to complete in limerick form, taking one line each. We're going to start with you, Willie. I once had a blind date with Scylla.
I once had a blind date with Scylla. I took her to watch Aston Villa. She sang to the crowd.
And she sang very loud.
And that's why they threatened to kill her.
OK, your turn, Graeme. I once had a trial with Bill Shankly.
At the end, he just looked at me blankly.
Said, you're no Roger Hunt.
In fact, I'll be blunt.
You're absolute rubbish, quite frankly.
OK, Barry, here's yours. We went to a show with Ken Dodd.
We went to a show with Ken Dodd. The usherette said, "Oh, my God.
He'll go on for years. And he's bound to sing tears."
When he finishes, give us a prod.
Finally, Tim, here's yours. Out drinking with Bruce Grobbelaar.
He paid with some cash from a jar.
He said, see, I saved this. So I gave him a kiss. And he tipped himself over the bar.
Okay, moving on. We now come to a long-forgotten musical round called Cyril, which involves singing the words of a given song, but in reverse order. They call it Cyril because, rather cleverly, this is lyrics spelled backwards. The idea to revive this old classic came to me suddenly one day as I was walking through Finsbury Park, or as Cyril players know it, Crappy Rubsniff. So, teams. Thinking caps on backwards, please, because I'd like you to sing along in reverse to the piano accompaniment of Les Nillock. The artist formerly known as Colin Sell. You know, I was interested to learn recently that Colin doesn't just play the piano. In fact, I have a letter here which says he's recently become very handy on the sax. And that's signed by the Haringey Council Waste Disposal Department. Right, Tim and Willie, you're to start. I'd like to hear from you a backwards rendition of the duet, A, You're Adorable.
Adorable, you're A.
Beautiful, so you're B.
Charms of full cutie, A, you're C.
And darling, A, you're D.
Exciting, you're E.
Arms, mind, feather, A, you're F. And
me too, good look, you G.
Heavenly, so you're H.
Idolize, I1, you're I.
Jill and Jack like we're J.
Kissable, so you're K.
Eyes, you're in light, love, the is L. Day, all on go. Could we be O-N-M? Okay, you're speaking alphabetically. T-S-R-Q. Bomb. Complete life, I make you. Sweet, very, you means B. C-Y-X, you double. You with alphabet. The low 1 or 2, find it's me to mean you what you jump to.
That's the first time I've liked that song. Your turn, Barry and Graeme. Your backward song is Anything You Can Do.
Better do can you anything? You then better anything do can I?
Can't you know?
Can I yes?
Can't you know?
Can I yes?
Can't you know?
Can I yes? Can I yes?
You then greater, I'm later or sooner. Greater be, can you anything?
Not your no.
Am I yes?
Not your no.
Am I yes?
Not your no.
Am I yes? Am I yes? Cartridge single A with partridge A shoot can I?
Arrow and bow A with sparrow A get can I?
Cheese and bread on live can I?
That on only and?
Yes.
Ratter can so.
I am your can you know Tenny?
You then hire anything sing can I?
Can't you know?
Can I yes?
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 Can't you know? Can I yes?
That's very nearly all we've got time for, in fact, but there is just long enough, I think, to play a round called TV Seasons. This round was inspired by those themed Channel 4 seasons that tackled taboo subjects. Explicit programs have recently included drug abuse, weird culty religions, and non-stop kinky sex. And that's just one episode of Brookside. Teams, I'd like you please to come up with some suggestions for the titles of challenging films and other programs likely to fill a late-night Channel 4 season on the subject of gardening. Willie, will you start, please?
The Great Train Shrubbery. Privets on Parade.
Starring Petunia Clark and Robbie Coldframe.
Lorne Green, Patrick Moore, Claire Bloom and Kate Bush. Not to mention Graeme Garden.
Hello, Collie.
Back to the fuchsia.
Laurel and hardy perennials. The compost man always rings twice.
And,
Grow bag in anger.
Bring me the hedge of Alfredo Garcia.
well, as the fluff ball of time pops out of the navel of destiny, and the nylon underpants of fate ride uncomfortably up the cleft of despair, I notice we've come to the end of another programme. So from Samantha, the teams, myself and the good people of Liverpool, goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Barry Cryer, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton were being given silly things to do by Humphrey Lyttelton, with Colin Sell setting some of them to music. The programme consultant was Ian Pattinson and the producer was John Naismith. Presents I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttelton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the panel game that's done for comedy what Gareth Hunt did for rhyming slang. We come to you from historic Stratford, where thousands of visitors flock each year to admire and wonder at the site that once launched our nation's greatest theatrical career, or to marvel at the place where his wife once lived by visiting Emma Thompson's cottage. We're located in the magnificent Royal Shakespeare Theatre, and by way of a tribute to our noble surroundings, this final show in the current series would take a strictly Shakespearean theme. Now, Stratford isn't only about fine stage performances from well-rehearsed professionals. Oh, no. So let's meet the teams. They are on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. On my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. And warm applause, please, for our scorer, the lady who sits on my left hand. The delightful Samantha. Our first round... Have you finished? Our first round is entitled Shakespearean Headlines. In days of yore, teams, long before the invention of newspapers, events of great importance were recorded in tapestries hung in our national buildings to be inspected by the public and then taken down on Fridays to wrap around their fish and chips. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to come up with some likely newspaper headlines that one might have expected to find in the papers after a certain event recorded by Shakespeare. The event is the unfortunate demise of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Barry, you start, please.
Dog Breeders' Gazette. Great Dane puts self down.
The Times. Blair says whittling down of royal family a success.
The Stage. Touring players unexpectedly available for panto.
The Daily Express reprints Ophelia's Panorama interview in full, where she says a surfeit of lampreys was just a cry for help.
The Guardian. Yesterday's headline, Laughter at Elsinore, should have read Slaughter. at Erinsborough.
In a thundering headline, the Sun tells the Prince, just be.
The Telegraph, Danish bloodbath, no Britons hurt.
Any more? I say, let's try another. This time it's the regrettable demise of Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor.
Gay news, Macbeth outed, admits laying on Macduff.
The Guardian, Boreham Wood seen approaching Dungeness.
The Sun, few what a Scotchman.
And the Scotsman. The headline is, Och, Eye of Newt.
The Glasgow Herald, pioneering test tube baby kills king.
And Woman's Own, Delia's recipe for Dunkin' Donuts.
Any more?
The London Evening Standard, tube strike off.
Okay, well, our next round, musical Shakespeare, is hugely entertaining. Except for listeners in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. In this round, teams, I'd like you to sing the words of various popular Shakespearean passages to certain well-known contemporary tunes of my choosing. You'll be accompanied on the piano by Colin Sell, one of the finest musicians of the day. Of course, when night comes, something seems to desert him. Tim, I'd like you to start by singing the If Music Be the Food of Love speech from Twelfth Night to the tune of Hernando's Hideaway.
If music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it. That's fitting the appetite. May sicken and soul die. Like that string again. It had a turning call, oh it came. Oh my dear, like the sweet hound that breathes upon a bank of violets, stealing and giving, odour enough no more.
Samantha just told me that she can't keep the score because she couldn't hear Tim then for Colin Sell banging away.
I've just realised why there isn't a television version of it.
Barry, would you please sing The Quality of Mercy Is Not Strained from The Merchant of Venice to the tune of Leaning on a Lamppost.
The quality of mercy is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed, oh mother, it blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis my chest in the my chest, it becomes the throned monarch, better than his crown is stepped toward the fall. All temporal power the attribute to order, blessed be within the sit the dread and fear of kings, but turned out nice again.
Graeme, will you please sing the Blow Winds and Crack Your Cheeks speech from King Lear to the tune of As Time Goes By?
Blow winds and crack your cheeks, rage blow you cataracts, and hurricane-o spout, till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. I love you, Vic. You selfless anthoid, executing fires, vaunt couriers of oak-cleaving thunderbolts. Singe my white head, and thou, all shaking thunder, strike.
Finally, Willie, will you sing Hamlet's To Be or Not To Be speech to the tune of A, You're Adorable?
To
be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea. Our troubles and by opposing in them to die to sleep, no more am I asleep to say. We're in the heart again, 1,000 natural shocks, that flesh is heir to 'tis a con.
Let's go on to a round which is entitled... This is called Quoting Shakespeare. What, I wonder, can our teams make from a series of phrases or sayings first employed some 400 years ago? Well, apart from the script for the Jimmy Tarbuck show, they might like to introduce some culture into the proceedings by putting appropriate endings onto some famous quotes from Shakespeare's works. Willie, we're going to start with you. Will you conclude this saying? Some men are born great, some achieve greatness, and some...
Run British Gas.
Barry, how about this, Barry? I know a bank whereon the...
Former Foreign Secretary sits.
Graham, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your...
Punchline.
Here's one for you, Tim. Though this be madness, yet there is...
Worse, late at night on Channel 4.
Another one for you, Willie. Et tu...
Et tu, but couldn't manage 3 Weetabix.
Barry, it is a wise father that knows his own...
Blood group.
Graham, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more...
Wet and windy with a cold front moving in from the sun.
Oh. Tim, blow winds and crack your...
Underpants.
Right, well, it's now time to play the game called Mornington Crescent. But first, I notice we've been inundated by a card from a Mrs. Trellis of North Wales. Dear Dr. Clare, she writes, so pleased to hear that Tim Brooke-Taylor is back. Without him, the show was like Hamlet without the balcony scene. Thank you, Mrs. Trellis. How true. On with the game, teams, which this week, in honour of our visit to Stratford-upon-Avon, will be played according to Tudor court rules. As many will know, this was the version of the game formally adopted by Henry VIII, and one which Shakespeare himself is likely to have played. Obviously, the playing area was considerably smaller than today, and many streets were effectively out of bounds due to plague. But it's basically the same as the modern game. According to the popular Arden edition of the Tudor Court Rulebook, at the passing of the codpiece, 'tis the holder who may nominate, except when out of croup. Well, I have with me the required piece of cod, which I shall now pass to you. Tim Brooke-Taylor, will you start, please?
Tyburn. I'm handing the piece of cod to Barry.
Right. Received. I'm not in croup, am I, because of that?
No.
Right.
No,
not yet.
Curzon Street.
Pass us the fish, then.
I will lob.
But you...
What sort of radio show is it where you have to make your own sound effects? And quite frankly, a card landing on a desk is bloody difficult.
As you proved so effectively.
Carry on, Willie.
Northumberland Avenue.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Ooh. This is haddock, isn't it?
It was cod over here when it landed.
Doesn't travel well.
Globe Lane.
Oh.
Pudding. You're right, it is Haddock Lane.
Ah.
Oh, yes.
Oh. Hay Hill.
He's out of croup, isn't he?
I'm thinking, wait a minute. Well, it's a moot point. I'm going to rule that he's not, because it's a borderline case.
Okay.
Carry on, Willie, then.
Gin Alley. That fish is still breathing.
It's about the only thing that is.
Southwark Road.
Tower Hamlets.
Pie Corner.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Go on, Willie, go for it.
Let's have a glass of water first.
You're out of time, Willie.
Mornington Crescent.
Oh, go on if you must.
No, I don't like to now. It's soon. I'm prepared to accept that Mornington Crescent.
That was a bit of an anticlimax on the whole, wasn't
Yes.
it? But then it used to be in the 16th century.
It's time now for a round of limericks, the simple rhyme scheme that still has devotees flocking to the Irish town of Stanza. Teams, I shall furnish you each with a fruitful first line, which I'd like you to continue in limerick form, taking one line each. We're going to start with you, Tim. That potty old monarch, King Lear,
was a martyr to chronic diarrhea.
He'd sit on his throne, emit a loud groan,
And nobody else would go near.
Here's one for you, Barry. Oh, dear. That warrior Coriolanus.
That warrior Coriolanus did several things that were heinous. He tortured the cat.
Set fire to my hat.
And now he's been sick in my trainers.
Willie, here's one for you. That jealous old soldier Othello.
That jealous old soldier Othello let out a stentorian bellow.
He fell on his sword.
And shouted, "Oh, God."
That's the last time that I'll play the cello.
Finally, Graeme, here's yours. At an orgy, old Julius Caesar
met a virgin and tried hard to please her.
She said, "My name is Mimi."
Are you pleased to see me? Or is that the Tower of Pisa?
Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is a game called Blind Date. It's based on that old televisual favourite in which hapless individuals can only wonder what humiliations are in store for them when the screen is pulled back. That's Casualty. However, ours is a special Shakespearean version of the popular show hosted by Cilla Black. And teams, in this round, I'd like three of you to assume the identities of certain desirable male characters from Shakespeare. And as was traditional in Elizabethan times, our female chooser will be played by a male child actor. And happily we have in our midst the exceptionally childish Tim Brooke-Taylor. But before Tim puts his question to them, let's find out the identities of the gorgeous men waiting for him behind the screen. Hello, number one. What's your name and where are you from?
Hello, sir. I am Richard Crookback, King of England.
Over to you, number two. What's your name, Chuck, and what do you do for a living?
I
I am Touchstone, stand up on Avon.
And finally, number 3, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, please.
I am a messenger from yonder, and the Queen, my lord, is dead.
Well, we've met the talent, now let's meet our lovely chooser. And doesn't she look great? You're certainly in for a treat tonight, lads. Now, Chuck. Do you have some questions you'd like to put to the boys behind the screen?
Yes, I do, Scylla. My first question is to Richard Crookback. Not a great start for us. I'm a keen market gardener. If you were a vegetable, what would you be?
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this leg of pork. And what better vegetable to accompany it than a parsnip? Roasted well, I wench, a noble parsnip I would be, a fine, straight, full-figured parsnip with a slight hump.
Touchstone, could you answer that, please?
Marry, madam, I would as lief be a mirthful marrow as a melancholy mango. Oblige on your allotment, mistress.
And messenger...
I'm still trying to remember the bloody message.
If you were a vegetable...
Oh, what ho, my liege? Stout Wessex. That's not it.
No.
I'll have a runner bean.
Oh, Scylla, I don't know which to... Shall I ask another question, Scylla?
If you want to.
I don't.
It's uncanny, isn't it?
I like going out for meals in expensive restaurants. If you were a spicy, exotic dish, what sort would you be, and how would you make me want to eat you? Can I put that to number 2, Touchstone?
If fate would I curry favour with you, fair maid, pop it on, my queen, I would be your man and your nan, my chutney charmer.
Pardon? Now, number 3, messenger.
Runner bean vindaloo.
What's a spicy dish would, Richard? What would you be?
I fain would be a Yorkshire pudding, drenched in the o'erweening curry sauce, and topped withal a white rose with...
Well, hark at him. I've got a third one, Scylla. My hobbies are horse riding and going to the hairdressers. What animal would you be to make me want to saddle you, and how would you like your roots done? Number 3, messenger.
Well, the wild boar. And as the roots, I think wild boar fertiliser, I think, at the back of a wild boar or something.
Richard III.
A buffalo, bold and quick, and with a slight hump.
Is that a slight hump on the roots?
Right. As to my roots,
right.
You know full well I like my parsnips roasted.
Touchstone.
I am a stallion, my sturdy saddle, tie my girth and mount me. As for my roots, they are streaky, cheeky, dozy, beaky, me.
Well,
Titch, my Dunmo Flitch.
Well, while Tim's making his choice, we'll now hear from Graeme, who last went on a romantic holiday in Marbella with his chosen partner. So, Graeme, was it a Laura fun?
No, Scylla, it was a disaster. She was unwell in the bus from the airport, and again in the lift in the hotel. We missed the gourmet evening in the hotel because she wanted to go for fish and chips. And then every night, all night in the bar, sinking lager, and really embarrassed me at the karaoke, because I didn't know there was a dirty version of Nessun Dorma. And she insisted on going topless in the dining room, with her pants on her head, smoking her pipe, and trying to pull the manager. Disastrous from start to finish.
Ooh, I say. Well, next week, Princess Margaret will be giving her side of the story. Right, our next round is called Madrigal. How often, listeners, have you sat pondering what delights might be in store if our team members were to turn their talents to the musical pleasures of an Elizabethan madrigal? No, neither have I. In this round, teams, I'd like you to sing a madrigal whose title is to be provided by the opposing team. This musical lament will be accompanied by Colin Sell, and music doesn't come much more lamentable than that. Barry and Graeme, you want to start? Will you provide a title for their madrigal piece, Tim and Willie?
We'd like their lute song to be A Midsummer Night's Dream, and make it as lute as you like.
Who's that on the banjo? That's a turbo lute. I joined a band of strolling players. 'Twas only for a lark.
We played A Midsummer Night's Dream in leafy Regent's Park.
I gave my bottom nightly, though my bottom's past its peak.
I did it in the open air. My case comes on next week.
Well, we're rapidly approaching the end of the show, but there's just time, I think, to fit in a round of Elizabethan Film Club. So while Samantha pops out to the local Shakespeare archive to enjoy the complete works, I'd like you teams to suggest some titles of films likely to be popular with an audience of Elizabethans. Willie, will you start, please?
The Armada They Fall. When Harry Met Raleigh.
One Flew Over the Cuckold's Nest.
Bridge over the River Thames.
The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Golden Hind.
With Doublet Hose 7.
Round the World in 3 years. Essex and the Single Girl.
Francis the Talking Drake.
Rebel Without a Codpiece.
Sword fight at the OK Corral.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Marlowe.
Well, as the little Andrex puppy of time scampers onto the busy dual carriageway of destiny, and the extra strong meat vindaloo of fate confronts the toilet out of order sign of eternity, I notice it must be the end of the show. So from the teams, Samantha, myself, and the fine people of Stratford-upon-Avon, goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Barry Cryer, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton were being given Silly Things to Do by Humphrey Lyttelton, with Colin Sell setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith.